I remember seeing him in the movie The Right Stuff too. And
Gonzalez.
You remember that movie?
Yeah, it was Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. And I remember going, oh, wow, this is cool.
Tony, on behalf of NFL en Español, NFL Mexico, thank you very much for doing this. We reached out to you after seeing the Stay Home, Stay Strong campaign. Tell us a little bit about how that came together. I remember you with that puncher just opened up the campaign. That was amazing. How did it end up coming together?
Well, first of all, the poncho, I wear them every day. It's just, now it's getting a little hot out here. That's why I don't have one on now. But trust me, tonight I will be wearing my poncho. But, obviously the NFL reached out. They said, hey, would you mind doing a little, say whatever you want to say, really. And that was it. It wasn't like a script. It was just, hey, we're all in this together. Let's make the most of it. Let's come through it and let it help, let it reach everybody. Right. Meaning that, look, it doesn't have to be that bad. Let's make something positive about this.
Well, you strike me as a very positive guy. The first time I met you, it was with the Fox Deportes team at the Fox lot. It was a Sunday NFL day, and you got that little spark in you. How are you keeping that positive mindset to help you throughout these troubling times?
Well, it's kind of like the same thing. I mean, when you play NFL football season or college football season or high school, it doesn't matter. You're going to go through the ups and downs. And I think for this type of situation for us, it's like, okay, this sucks. It's not good, but let's get through it. Let's look for the positive side of it, and let's make it work for us. And so then it's like, okay, let's learn Spanish for me. I want to learn more Spanish.
Nice.
Let's go out there. Let's start working out a little more. Let's do that diet. Let's do whatever, all the stuff that we didn't have time for before that we all wanted to do. And I think everybody out there understands what I'm saying. Let's do it, because now you have the opportunity to do it.
So obviously most of our daily routines have changed, but is there something, you mentioned the Spanish lessons, but something different that you've always wanted to do and now are you doing? Because I've developed some talent like cooking, and I don't know if you've developed any talents you didn't think you have.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think cooking. I ordered a wok, a little Chinese wok.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, and so that's kind of been like the new thing around our house is cooking. My wife's cooking a lot more, which I thought would never happen. Don't tell her. And so things. Other than that, a little exercise, taking more walks with the kids, but mostly, honestly, it's been a lot of Spanish. Way more than I've done in the past. So
that sounds good. Do you think that mental strength you develop as an athlete has helped you on this situation right now?
Absolutely. Like I said, football, I believe, this is why I love football so much. Besides the great game in itself, it just teaches so many lessons from like responsibility, accountability, going through the hard times, dealing even with the good times, how to keep getting better, like all those things that go in working with people that you might not get along with. The football team is so big. It's not like a basketball team. There's 53 guys on the roster. So it's all about getting along and for a common goal. And so that's why a situation like this, it's absolutely prepared me for something like this.
So, Tony, I've done a lot of introspection and a lot of reflecting after all these weeks. Has this situation changed the way you see life, or maybe how you value the little things?
Yeah, well, when you asked the question about my new routines, something I've done before, but I've kind of really stepped it up, is my meditation. I wake up every morning, I meditate. In the afternoon, I do, for the most part, I do a little meditation in the afternoon, and that kind of puts things in perspective for me. And spending time with your family, spending time with my wife. And I know that's hard sometimes. Everybody out there understands what I'm going. I know you said you're alone.
Yeah.
On the flip side, now you're around people all day, but you have to, develop the perspective of, okay, this is an opportunity. I got to have patience. I got to have compassion. I got to have forgiveness. Like all these different things go into it. And so I've been doing that, reading some good books as well, working on that inner peace, I guess, that inner growth. that I'm kind of obsessed with. So this is giving me an opportunity to go even further into who I want to be and who I am.
So what are you hoping for the 2020 season? The calendar just was just published. What are you expecting?
Well, we'll see how everything goes, and hopefully all goes as planned. And I'm looking forward. I mean, the beautiful thing about the NFL is that no matter what team you root for, looking at them right now on paper, you're like, they got a shot. I don't care if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, a Cincinnati Bengals fan. You're like, you know what? They just got the number 1 pick in the draft. The quarterback can change this whole thing. So you're always optimistic that your team can do well. I'm anxious to see how the Chiefs bounce back. I'm anxious to see how Baltimore Ravens, it look like they got better. Tom Brady obviously going down to the Buccaneers. Anxious to see him throw for 5,000 yards, which is what I think he's going to do. Drew Brees got more players. Like it's so much going on in the NFL. That's why it makes it such a beautiful sport, and why it's to me, obviously, it's the king. But I can't wait to see what's going to happen this year. It's going to be an exciting season.
And finally, Tony, with no sports going on, I love the impact on NFL that you got the draft and everybody was just talking about the offseason, how great it was. What do you think that on this situation that we're having, the NFL has accomplished with that impact, not only in the US, but all around the world?
Yeah. Well, sport is obviously something to me that it's pure. It's a way, it's an escape kind of, to throw yourself. And that's everything, whether it's soccer, baseball, basketball, football. In the NFL, they got that secret sauce there. They know how to get after the heartstrings and get behind, and the draft was great at that, especially going into those guys' homes and seeing them with their families and their girlfriends and seeing all the drama that goes with it. It's fun to watch, and I'm like everybody else. Obviously, I was up on the stage in New York when I got drafted back in 1997. God, so long ago. But watching these kids, knowing their futures are about to change, their whole world's about to be turned upside down. It's an exciting time in their lives, and then we get to watch it. It was great.
I agree. That's pure magic right there. Okay, so Tony, tell us a little bit about that Latin heritage. You mentioned in an interview once that your grandfather spoke Spanish, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, with fluent, and he spoke Portuguese. I mean, and
Portuguese, tá bom.
Yeah. He's Cape Verdean and Portuguese. That was what my grandfather was, but he was raised in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. And I think before he even knew. So he always thought he was Argentinian. And we didn't find this out until after he passed away, because I grew up going, oh, I'm Argentinian. My grandfather's from Buenos Aires. But we found a birth certificate that said he was actually born in Cape Verde. Wow. But obviously, culturally, he was Argentinian, Buenos Aires, and my grandmother is from Jamaica, and that was my father. And so and then my mom is black, white, and a little bit of Native American. So I got all these different cultures going on.
Great mix.
But my last name is Gonzalez. It's always been really, really important for me to embrace that part of my heritage, especially growing up here in Southern California. Huge Latin influence out here, Latino influence out here. So it's been very, very important to me to reconnect and to connect. And for my kids, especially now, that's part of what the upbringing in the Gonzalez household is, obviously we're here in America, but we definitely want to make sure that we embrace those roots, especially because my wife, she's Native American. Her dad speaks fluent Spanish. Their tribe was right on the border of Mexico and Texas, Arizona, that area.
Yeah.
And so everybody speaks Spanish there too. So it's been important around our household.
When you were in the NFL 100 all-time team special, there was a very touching moment with you and Anthony Munoz. You told everybody that he was a big inspiration for you. How did you become aware of him? Because I love that story, and especially what he meant to you.
Well, growing up, watching football, and everybody out there is a fan, especially back in the 80s, I couldn't name anybody else besides him in the NFL with the last name like mine, Munoz Gonzalez. And I was looking at it when I was a kid going, wow, there's hope. Like I could do this. And I remember seeing him in the movie The Right Stuff too. And
Gonzalez.
You remember that movie?
Yeah, it was Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, and I remember going, oh wow, this is cool. So I've always looked up to Anthony. Every time I see him, man, it's like he's like a somewhat of an older brother to me. He's so much class. The way he played the game, dominated, arguably the best tackle in NFL history. He's a huge role model for me, and that's why I look at my responsibility. The young Latino players that are coming up in the NFL, the ones that would come in, after the game, we always go up and say, "What's up? How are you doing?" Because and you're seeing it explode now. I think for sure you're seeing that number. It's going to keep rising, because it's seen now that something that you can accomplish. But it all started with Anthony.
Without a doubt. Tell us a little bit about your trip to Mexico. What was going in your life that made you want to go there?
Well, like I said, my grandfather, obviously, he spoke fluent Spanish. I'm out here. I'm heavily influenced by the Mexican culture. I love the Mexican culture. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to go down to San Miguel de Allende.
It's beautiful, right?
It was so gorgeous. It was such a unique time in my life. I wasn't married or anything at that point. So I spent the month away, lived with a family down there in their house, speaking really limited Spanish, and they spoke limited English. We're sitting at dinner every night looking at each other like, hola.
And everybody was looking like all the way up, right?
But it was probably the best experience I had in my life. And then from there, it kind of just snowballed. I mean, I go down to Mexico all the time. Me encanta Mexico. So it's close to my heart.
What did you like most about your time in San Miguel de Allende?
The culture. Honestly, learning the culture. And seeing that this beautiful little gem of a city or town, the cobblestone streets, the tile sidewalks, the food, the festival. They have this area in San Miguel called the Verdean, I think it was called. Yeah. And this big, beautiful church, and you just go there and sit there and just live life. It's like they knew how to live life. Just sitting out there drinking a couple cervezas, the coffee, have a good, pan dulce or whatever. Yes. Like it was just the best.
You were quoted in an ESPN article back in 2004 saying, and I quote, "It takes about 5 months to become fluent if you're going 6 hours a day submerging yourself in a different country." So it sounds like you really had it measured out. Are you competitive even about learning languages?
Well, now I am, because I said that and it was true, but I was only down there a month. So that was if I could go back and talk to that young Tony, I'd be like, look, you did so well, you jump-started it, but then I'd come back and football season would start and then you can't practice. And so I would lose it. And that's why I've been doing this dance with learning Spanish. So, but yeah, I'm competitive. And now I've said it to myself, I would like to be able to do an interview like we're doing right now. My goal is I want to speak but all in Spanish. I want to be able to express myself in full conversation, not just being functional, which I'm highly functional now. I can get by easy, but I want to be able to have conversational Spanish with nativos.
Well, Tony, you're about to get tested right now. This is going to be the opportunity to shine in Spanish. Are you ready? It's going to be rounds 1, 2, very, very simple. I say something in Spanish, you repeat it back to me in English. And level 3 is going to be pronunciation class, and I will grade you on a scale to 1 to 5. Sounds good?
It sounds good.